Today, I want to speak about addictions, relapsing, and overcoming an addiction, how to go about that. And so to begin, I want to share my experiences with addictions. Now, I've had addictions to people, I've had addictions to food, I've had addictions to quite a variety of things, but what I want to speak about is drug use, marijuana, weed. A lot of people wouldn't consider it addicting, but to those who've used it for a while, I'm pretty sure you realize that it is quite addicting, especially when you try to stop. And I went through a bad breakup in 2018. If you check out the very first videos of my YouTube channel, I think I made like 3 or 4 before that whole event happened. And starting that year is really where weed made its presence known and ingrained into my life, because I needed something to emotionally and mentally cope that was quick. I understood that sitting, stretching, meditating would do that, but to me, I perceived that as being a longer process than a puff, feel better. And my use only got worse as time went on. And suddenly, I needed this object, weed, so I could indulge in it and feel good. And once it left, all the consequences came around. All the pain, all the suffering, all the realizations that I couldn't take care of myself without this thing. I couldn't even meditate without this thing. Over time, especially in 2020, I really started to change my character. My character is just a narrative which I live in, a pattern of thought, a bunch of different cycles of thought, all put together to create someone which I believe is me, an ego, so to say. And so I changed my character, my ego, to better fit someone who wouldn't be so involved with weed, be so dependent on marijuana. And at this time too, I also started to dive deeper into my course, Permanent Peace. And Permanent Peace was a way for me to overcome all of this. As the course aims to give you its name, which is Permanent Peace, I understood that wouldn't be an instant thing, it would be a journey. And so at the time of creating the foundation, that's truly when I found freedom and liberation from any substance. Then came December. December is a very social month, and I'm a very social person. I like going to events, so on and so forth. And when people offer me things and it's genuine and it's, not crazy like crack, I'll let myself have a drink, I'll let myself have a puff, but during those big social events. And after December left, I decided to drop those things as well. However, it had been a month of roughly, let's say, between 2 and 4 big social events where those things had happened. Can't remember off the top of my head, sorry. And so those thought patterns, those way of being had now brought themselves back to the limelight. I remembered what I used to be like. I remembered how those things felt again in a very new and refreshed way. And going into January, I started to struggle a bit, mentally and emotionally. I didn't succumb to it. I never made the walk of shame over to the dispensary or to go buy alcohol. I never really did like drinking, but weed was really where I struggled. I never had to go do that, but I went through all the relapse symptoms that I had initially. And so this kind of goes into a dream that I had last night. See, dreams to me are metaphors that you can interact with, and if you're conscious in them, you can truly see where your mind is during the day, where you're struggling, and really dive into very, very deep subconscious and subtle aspects of your mind that you're not really too aware of in your day-to-day life that still manifest in ways that seem almost unexplainable to you. And so when I started it, I was here, and there was a woman in my bed, and she was trying to be very promiscuous. She was trying to draw me into the bed, and I was like, no, I want to work on this. I want to do this. And this symbolized me being here, doing my work on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is, to create the best life for me and for others. And in my bed was all the laziness, all the indulging, all the greed that I had been trying to avoid. And that was now persisting in my now life in January, but it was just a voice in my head. However, I decided to go lay with it. I didn't act with it. Nothing. And by it, I mean the woman, but I also mean with these thoughts. I had allowed myself to roam them for a bit, but never act out on them. as I said, never made the walk of shame to the dispensary or to buy alcohol. And so with this, the dream eventually progressed, and I ended up in this large building surrounded by people doing incredibly profane things. But these people were people that I had grown up with, and they were the age that they most expressed these actions, where people were having sex on the tables. People were clearly drunk and trying to flirt and get something out of it with other people. They were being gluttonous with the amount of food they were eating, completely oblivious to the repercussions they're going to face eating that type of food and consuming, alcohol, creating that ugly concoction inside a body which is eternally summer. Meaning, if you take meat and alcohol, blend them together and sit them under the summer sun, that's basically what it's like eating that. So I was freaking out. And this had showed me that I made it through. I've walked myself through all the craziness because I didn't indulge in anything in this whole house. It was a wild house, but I simply walked through it and came out the other end, and then came back here. And this was also to me a representation of how I had overcome the hardest weed craving I had had in such a long time. With the breakup, what I had done is when I'd reached certain levels of stress, I had conditioned myself to think in a way which was, I need weed to calm down. I need weed so I can enjoy my day. I need weed, I need weed, I need weed. Rather than, I need to relax, I need to focus on something else, I need to move my awareness from here, I need to actually take the time to bring myself down. So, I was at work. Things are getting crazy. We're down a normal person than usual, and it was literally falling apart for like an hour. And I reached that level of stress again. However, I noticed something. I need weed. I need weed. I need weed. I'm gonna buy weed. I'm gonna smoke weed. And I was like, whoa, this has not been here in a while. And I didn't move my awareness from it. And when I came back here, the desire for it became incredibly strong. So when it comes to overcoming any type of addiction, any type of desire, an addiction is just a repetitive desire that is incredibly powerful. When you're overcoming any desire, even an addiction, when it's at its small phase, all you simply have to do is consciously breathe and move your awareness away from that thought. It's simple, but it takes some perseverance and some discipline to actually follow through with this. So that's what I did in the beginning, but I found myself continuously returning due to the state of stress that I was in. And so as it grew, it felt like every being in my body wanted to get marijuana. I tried to eat to make myself focus on something else, but my mind was focused on getting weed. So this is how you overcome a very, very powerful urge to act on your addiction. You need to get all of your senses, everything, focused on something else. What I like to do is I have blackout curtains. You don't need blackout curtains, but I like to close them and make my room as dark as possible. I'll then touch myself, I'll hug myself, and I'll lay down. You can have the blinds open on a sunny day and lay down in your bed or lay down on the floor, but make sure that you're touching yourself. Make sure that you're holding yourself in a comfy place. Then take headphones, take earbuds, so audibly you have to focus on something and play something like a lecture. I enjoy spiritual lectures, so I put on a talk by Baba Ram Dass, and I just sat and listened. And that to me was incredibly enjoyable. Plus, it stimulated me mentally onto a different thought process rather than I need weed, I need to go buy weed, and so on and so forth. So do that. I don't necessarily suggest playing music because we're really conditioned into listening to music, but also being somewhere else mentally and emotionally rather than what's being played to us. So you could kind of fall into that. You more than likely will fall into that if your desire for something is big enough. So play something that you have to listen to. From there, I closed my eyes and just deep breaths. So physically, I was deep breathing to calm myself down. I was hugging myself to provide emotional comfort as well. And I was laying down in a place which I associate with being calm, a place that I need to sleep. That's my temple. And from there, I was listening to something which brought me happiness, brought me joy, and made me think. It made me and influenced me to think about something else. When it becomes too intense, when you want attention, you're about to reach out to that toxic person, when you want a drug, a substance, and you're about to reach out to your dealers or leave to those places where you can find it, when you want a food that you've been trying to kick for so long, you need to move every single aspect of your being somewhere else, to some other place. Because you have to realize that you're the one, as the observer of this thought, of these emotions, that you're the one focusing yourself there. However, you can be influenced to go somewhere else, so you need to make the decision to create those paths for yourself by doing what I said, by invoking every aspect of your being into a new state of being, by doing stuff that cares for yourself. And relapses are hard, I'm not gonna lie. When you hit those moments and you're actually experiencing it, it's the toughest thing in the world, and all you want is that thing to make it go away. But you have to realize and you have to think ahead. What happens if this actually, follows through? Let me be real about it. Oh, if I smoke weed now, then I'm going to be okay with doing it in the future. It means this is going to show up tomorrow when I get stressed. This is going to show up when, oh God, you understand what I'm saying. Take care of yourself and be strong. Be disciplined, persevere, and be even-minded. Don't go to one extreme or the other. You don't have to. You really don't. And if anything, find a way to anchor yourself in the morning. Check out my course, Permanent Peace, and check out the foundation portion of it, and perform that in the morning. Seriously, it's one of the best anchors I've ever done, honestly, to keep me grounded and even-minded throughout my day, along with aware of where I'm actually putting my focus towards. So with that, my name is JC. This is Overcoming Addiction, Relapses, so on and so forth. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.